Hello friends! Well, today we're having a little bit of a different video. I'm not going to show you how I made something, but I'm going to show you what I made it with. Now, in this age of CAD, computer aided design, 3D printing, and almost jewelry on demand, there's kind of been a lost art, and it's called fabrication. It's taking raw materials and forming and warping and manipulating the gold, silver, or whatever you're working with into a shape and a final design. Nowadays, it's done on a computer typically, and then it's 3D printed into a wax, and that's cast into the piece of jewelry. And then the real work begins once it's cast. It needs to be finished. So you have to polish, sand, polish, and set the gems. But fabrication has its place, and I'm going to show you why. I just finished a piece. I'm going to show you what it looks like. But first, I'm going to show you the material I started with. This is sterling silver sheet. So I don't even remember how thick this is. Half a millimeter, not quite a millimeter. Sterling silver sheet. Sterling silver flat stock. I actually didn't use this. I made my own 1 millimeter, maybe it was 2 millimeter flat stock. I made my own on my rolling mill, which you can see in my previous videos where I've made lots of different sizes of stock of sterling silver on my rolling mill. Now I also had to order in some flat stock about this size that was rose gold, 14 karat 14 karat rose gold, and some wire, some rose gold wire. So sterling sheet, 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter sterling silver square stock that I made on my rolling mill, some flat stock of rose gold, and some wire of rose gold. I ordered all this in, and I made some of it myself. And this is what I created. Now this is my front-facing camera, and I have funky lighting right here. But this is what I made. It's a quiver. I did not make the chain, but the chain is 14 karat rose gold too. Wow, I might have to flip the camera around to focus on this, but I'll just finish telling you about it. This is the quiver with 4 arrows made out of rose gold. So, as you can see, these arrows are 14 karat rose gold wire, and then I took the flat stock and fashioned the feathers. There's 4 of them in there for 4 children. There's a Bible verse in Psalms that talks about the arrows in your quiver as children. Anyway, so that's going to get engraved in here, Psalm, whatever the verse references, and then an initial on each of these feathers will also be engraved. I did a brush finish on the quiver, and then the strapping, kind of like the leather strapping, is polished. Rose gold chain. But this all started out as what I mentioned previously. This sheet. I fashioned the quiver out of this sheet. So I cut it, formed it, made the taper, and then the sterling silver stock, I made my own sterling stock to make the strapping. So that was one big long piece, and I cut it and fashioned it into the strapping. Then I may have even used this specific piece for the bail, which is connected on the back, right there. So the bail was made out of this, and then, like I said, all of the arrows are made out of rose gold. So I could have done CAD and had it 3D printed, but I thought it would be better to manufacture it myself, to create the piece and have my hand in it the whole way. This is for a gift. It's a guy who wants to give it to his wife for a gift, and I thought it would be much better if I could just go ahead and fashion it myself and fabricate it. Also, to create that in CAD, I think can be slightly problematic. There's some modeling that has to be done, and to have the hollowed out structure for the quiver and the arrows and all that stuff, by hand just works so much better, in my opinion. There's still a place for handwork out here in this industry, and in many other industries too. Not everything has to be computer-aided design. And in fact, I kind of like the handmade because it shows true craftsmanship. It gives you a challenge. And CAD does too, I'm sure. I just don't know how to do it. I do have people that do it for me, that I sub that out to specific people that will do that for me if needed. But if I can fabricate it, I typically will. It's a reminder that things can still be done by hand and beautifully done. You know, you're going to find imperfections. If you look hard enough in anything, you'll find imperfections. Not everything's a cookie cutter computer design. And that's what I like, actually. And I found that the majority of my customers love that too. Where it's, hey, this guy, Adam, in the studio, he just made this thing out of these old rings I gave him. Or I had a coin and he melted it down and made me a ring out of it. Or, you know, you name the scenario, I've probably done it. So that's the video for today. I just wanted to show you guys what fabrication is all about and how it can benefit you in the jewelry industry.